And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
More like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? He meant the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now that you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Luther Arnold. Okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
how
I
do you do
mean,
it? Teach me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile going on some shoes, but you know.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I gotta
when it's
try
time,
this with you.
when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try this
you gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny
All right,
and start laughing.
do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
This is sexy eyes right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are all enjoying your day, enjoying your morning. I hope it's a fun, wonderful Wednesday for you guys. It is hump day. And for some of y'all are celebrating St. Patty's Day. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to try to do the Irish accent because it's going to sound terrible coming from me. But happy St. Patty's Day for all y'all who are actually celebrating St. Patty's Day. You're drinking your green beer. You're eating your corned beef and hash. Haggis. I don't even know what it is. I don't know. Corned beef and
it's corned beef and hash.
Corned beef and hash. I was right. Hey, you know what I mean. Now I need some like Irish feeling music. You know what I'm saying? Now I need something Irishy. Hold up. Now I got to find something Irishy. Irishy. The things that come out of my mouth.
That sounds about right.
Let's see how this one sounds, shall we? Chai. Everybody trying to get to me Lucky Charms. Wasn't bad, right? Not bad. Was it bad? David, was that bad? Was that bad, David? Hold on. I'm sharing the sound with you now. You didn't hear my accent? You didn't hear my accent, David? You didn't hear my accent? No? He's just like, I'm just going to sit here and just deny. I'm just going to act like I didn't hear anything at all. Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Ha ha! I see your lass over there. I'm sorry. And I swear I didn't drink any green beer today. This morning. But anyway. Oh, you can't hear me? Hold up. That's why. The damn sound is too loud. Hold up. There we go. Is that a little bit better? Is that better? Oh, you really can't hear me. You can't hear me at all. You couldn't hear me at all?
No, I can.
Well, see, if I start blasting it, hold up. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, that's good.
Better?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just had to adjust the thing. So yes. Look at you, wee laddie. Let's drink a lager and get past.
My green shirt.
I don't have a green shirt. I'm not Irish. I'm not Irish. So why would I wear it? You know what I mean? Why would I wear an Irish shirt?
I forgot my Irish yoga shirt today. It's just a bunch of people passed out on benches in different poses. It's a good yoga shirt.
Oh yes. So that's enough. That's enough. But anyway, hopefully you guys are all having a wonderful. I know that it was terrible, Panda. I don't know what it was. It was an attempt at Irish, and then it just went down a really terrible route. But you know what? It is given the fact that it is St. Patty's Day and everything, It is time to share a little love. It's an oldie, but a goodie. You know? Hopefully it, hold on. Hopefully this one makes you laugh. It's a little skit. It's a throwback. It's hella throwback. But enjoy. What's up, Mike?
Hey.
Hey, what you eating?
Lucky Charms.
Oh, yeah? Can I have some?
Nah.
Well, why not?
Because you're not Irish. Hey! What the hell's the problem, man? What do you think you are?
Oh, God.
I'm on fire!
What the That tastes like what the
Anyway, so the
You
Just
don't
so
like
you
those
guys-
cardboard marshmallows?
yeah, you know those Lucky Charms are absolutely deliciously bad. Just so you know. Yes, McChilson. Yes, it is the the darkest Lucky Charms commercial ever. And then at the end, I mean, it's like, yeah, the Lucky Charms kind of taste like crap. I'm sorry. No offense. No offense. No offense. But for those of y'all who enjoy Lucky Charms, enjoy it on St. Patty's Day. You know, I don't know what I'm saying now. You know,
You're getting closer each time you try this, so practice makes perfect.
I'm trying to. I'm getting the Irish juices flowing. You know what I mean? Trying to get the, chai. Everybody trying to get me Lucky Charms. No.
It's better.
Okay.
It sounds kind of like a leprechaun now.
Well, that's the whole point, right? I'm trying to
Yeah, you
imitate
got
the
it.
Lucky Charms guy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you got it now.
There we go. There you go. There you go. And there's a lot of people out here, like Panda goes, I actually like Lucky Charms. Hey, there's a lot of people out here that enjoy Lucky Charms. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no shame in your game. It's just for the joke. You know what I mean? It's all for the jokes. But I know some people feel some type of way. You know what I mean? At the end, it's like, man, that kind of hit different. That you spitting it out and saying it tastes like crap, that kind of hits different, bro. Sorry. I'm
it's
sorry.
It's not the best. What is your favorite cereal, Pascal? You got to have something you like.
You really want to know?
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Nice. I actually
That is
haven't
life.
had those in a long time.
It's been a long time since I had it too. All right. The last time I had Cinnamon Toast Crunch is when Cinnamon Toast Crunch had me. It's been a long time. It's been a long, long time. So, real talk.
See, I never grew up, so I just still eat cereal and everything for breakfast.
See, that's the thing. Is that still like a kid thing? Or do grown-ups, do adults actually eat cereal? Not like honey nut Cheerios or anything. Because that's fire too. That could be fire too. Especially when the milk is cold enough and, you know, like the right temperature and everything's like the right type of sogginess. You know what I'm saying? The crispy / sogginess of it. When it's just perfect, woo, it hits just right.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder if people are still going and getting their favorite childhood cereal, or if they're just eating oat bran.
The thing with the old, like the childhood ones, is like like cereal just used to be all sugar. You didn't have the healthy ones at least when I was younger. I don't think. At least I don't remember them. They might have been around, but it was all like sugary candy, like Captain Crunch and stuff.
Yeah.
I know people do eat like healthier cereals now. I think granola is really popular. Granola and yogurt is kind of one that I think's taking that place a little bit. But I still eat like Honey Nut Cheerios every day or oats, one of the two.
Yeah. David Diaz said, "Stoned adults eat kid cereal." Here it is though. Is Cinnamon Toast Crunch considered a kid cereal? I think it's delicious, and I'm not stoned. And I'm not a stoner, so I'm just wondering. You know, like Frosted Flakes used to be my jam, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Honey Nut Cheerios. I mean, it's very basic, but I wasn't a Captain Crunch guy. You know, it was good to a certain extent, but then the roof of your mouth gets destroyed every single time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I know, Panda. I know Cinnamon Toast Crunch is like a bowl of sugar, bruh. I clearly know that. That's why I don't eat it all the time. You know, it's kind of like it's almost like a dessert, you know, or it's like a bowl of like getting a bowl of ice cream. You know what I'm saying? It's just something added, but you don't see me eating cereal on the reg. You feel me?
Yeah.
You just don't. Fruit Loops is fire too. 5K. Fruit Loops is fire, but at the same time, you won't catch me outside eating a hearty bowl of Fruit Loops. Unless it's a continental breakfast. You feel me? You're in the hotel. They have those little tiny little things, those little boxes, and you're like, yeah, I'll just do this. I haven't had, Fruit Loops in decades. Why not? You know what I'm saying? But it's not every day that you go to the supermarket and go, I'm just craving some Fruit Loops. Nah, not really.
I mean, if it's not for breakfast, it's just like a treat at that point or something. For at least in my view, like a cake. It's the same as having a cake or something later in the day. It's so sugary.
Word. You know what I'm saying? But I figured we start the show off a little bit light because there's a lot of heavy stuff that's gone on over last night. Even while I was doing my live show last night, a lot of things were breaking. And this is some really sad stuff, which we will be talking about very, very shortly. But for everybody who's walking in to the show, starting to jump in on the stream, be sure to hit that like button down below. That would really, really mean a lot. Obviously, if you guys have not been around for the past 24 hours, I just started a membership for the channel. So please, underneath, there is a join button underneath the live show right now. If you could please hit that join button, join. It's $4.99. There's some really special perks that you guys get on a weekly basis, which I'm really excited about. Starting next Wednesday, I will be doing Wednesday night shows that are specifically for members only, but that's an opportunity for members to Skype in, video chat with me, have conversations, and a whole bunch of other perks that are going to be starting to pop off, which I'm, like I said, very, very excited about. I've even thought about this, David. Because allegedly tomorrow, the Zack Snyder Justice League movie is coming out. I even thought about doing a members only watch party for the Zack Snyder movie, Justice League movie.
I think it is going to be more of a mini series, but they are releasing it all at once. So
it's not a mini series. It's a full on movie. They're considering it a full on movie, but there are chapters. So cool. It is a 4-hour excursion. Okay. And so I thought about maybe doing something like that, like doing the first thing with the few people that are going to be on, you know what I'm saying? And talk about it. Watch the show, watch it in its entirety. Excuse me. Do a little bit of a, intermission break, jump back on, start the rest of the video. You know what I'm saying? And then go from there, So that's something that I was thinking about doing on Thursday, because this is something I would love to do. And I really can't wait to see this, because Justice League was so bad. and I'm a fan of Superman, Batman. You know what I mean? Aquaman, the movie Aquaman was Wonder Woman's first movie was good, but the second one was trash. So I'm hoping that Zack Snyder is going to do it justice. And apparently, but apparently, a lot of it is a huge homage to his daughter who actually took her own life. And that was one of the reasons why he had to step down from the movie, because of his daughter taking her own life. So apparently there's a lot of little bits here and there that are just kind of homages to his daughter. So it's something that I really want to see, and I figured maybe do something like an impromptu thing. You know what I mean? Sarah, she said, it says subscribe, no join button. I'll mess with it later. Yeah, you might maybe need to. I don't know why it's slowly going out there, like rolling out there to people. But I think if you can go to the chapter, you can go to the channel, and I'm sure on the channel page it'll say join somewhere on there too, or maybe refreshing the feed. Maybe it'll show the join button there too. I'm sure this is going to slowly roll out to everyone so that everyone can see the actual join button, but it should be on the bottom underneath the live show, right? It's like next to the subscribe button. Go ahead, David.
They might need to go into desktop view. Someone earlier was saying that it didn't show up in their Apple phone. So it might not show up in the mobile version of the YouTube site, but if you go to the desktop version or switch over to that, I think you should be able to see it then.
Yes. Yeah, there's no join button in the app. There is one on the website. Boom. Philippe. Thank you, Philippe. Immortal Badass, thank you for joining. Lady Justice, you already know I appreciate you. I appreciate you jumping in. Black Lady Jane, thank you so much for joining. I know Anonymous joined as well. The family's starting to, join the membership. So thank you. And like I said, starting next Wednesday, because I wanted to make sure everybody I give everybody a good solid week, because I'd hate for it only to be the first live member show and it's like 2 people. You know what I'm saying? So I was just kind of like, all right, let me get everybody acclimated to the membership thing for the rest of this week. And then starting next week, I'll be starting to do those very specific perks and all that on Wednesday for the live Wednesday show. So I'm very excited. And then as I start doing more skits and stuff like that, because it seems like you guys enjoy the skits, there'll be more like behind the scenes footage that will be able to be seen specifically for members and all that. So you guys get to be a part of the chaos, whatever's going on in this crazy noggin of mine. So, yes. So I'm excited, and don't get me wrong. Any person that doesn't join does not mean that you can't know what's going on either. I will be putting things on the YouTube channel's stories and all that too. So, just be on the lookout. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on. So for those of y'all who have joined, I really do appreciate it. But I just had to make sure that was abundantly clear, because that is officially official now. All right. So anyway, and if you hear dogs yelping in the background, please ignore them. They're not getting tortured. They're just locked away right now, unfortunately. So anyway, yeah, gotta love that stuff. But anyway, we gotta unfortunately jump into the stories of the day. One of them is very serious, y'all. Like something, happened last night during this time that we were doing the show. There was during our 7 p.m. show, there was a huge, massive shooting that happened. Multiple people died in these spas all throughout Georgia, mainly in Atlanta. And I wanted us to take a look at this because it's terrible. It's terrible. It was done by one man so far as we know. His name is Robert Aaron Long. But I wanted you guys to see a little bit of a backup coverage story of this situation, because to me, as soon as I got done with the show, I walked out. I walked over to the TV, and this thing was just, not this particular clip, but the news was just blasting about this shooting spree that happened in Atlanta. And I want you guys to see this video, so let's take a look.
There are fears this morning that a string of deadly shootings at massage parlors in the Atlanta area could be linked to a wave of attacks against Asian Americans. 8 people were killed in the city and at least 1 wounded in those attacks yesterday night, and at least half of the victims are believed to be Asian women. The suspect, arrested 150 miles away after a chase, is a white man. His name is Robert Aaron Long. That is his picture there. Mark Strassman is at one of the crime scenes in Atlanta. Mark, this story is so troubling and terrifying at the same time. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Gail. 3 of the women were killed at the Gold Spa behind me. Police say it's too soon to tell whether victims were targeted because of their race. But these shootings do come during a pandemic-era surge in hate crimes against Asian Americans.
The shooting spree began around 5 p.m. Monday at Young's Asian Massage Parlor in Cherokee County, 30 miles north of Atlanta. 2 victims died at the scene, 2 more at the hospital.
I mean, first off, the thing about this, I mean, just going in to a massage parlor, you're getting massaged, you're getting whatever you need to get taken care of, and then this man walks in and just starts shooting people randomly. It's crazy to think that. Now, God knows what his motive was, but there's quite a bit that we need to talk about. We talked about this on Saturday, which is crazy, y'all. One of the things that I gotta say real quick, it's crazy because we had this conversation on Saturday's Speak On It, the Speak On It Saturday, when we talked about this very thing, about violence against Asians. And there's Asians with attitudes and all that stuff that's starting to be created and everything. And how I even said it to myself, like, this is a small moment. Like, these small moments that have been put out there are showing black people putting violence on Asian people. This one is very interesting because this has nothing to do with black on Asian crime. 0. This is a white man that walked in and started shooting people. And I even said it to myself. I was like, they're saying this little tiny thing, right? They're talking about these little moments. And I said it has to be something greater before it could be something that really brings like serious awareness towards violence towards Asians. And then this happens. Very fascinating.
Less than an hour later, police were called to Gold Spa, an Atlanta massage parlor, where police say 3 women who appeared to be Asian had been shot and killed.
While at that location, we received another call across the street at shots fired.
That location was aromatherapy spa, where another victim
across the street
also appeared to be an Asian woman died.
Which is just unfortunate. It's not really making any sense how this happens at a massage spa.
The common thread connecting the shootings prompted an Atlanta police officer to radio in this warning.
So we need to make sure if we have any Asian spas, we need to be checking on them.
A manhunt began for the suspect, seen in surveillance footage driving a black Hyundai earlier in the day.
Georgia State Patrol troopers performed the pit maneuver, which caused the vehicle to spin out of control.
Officers later captured 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long, 150 miles south of Atlanta.
So he shot a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of Asian people, got in his car and started driving north. He drove 150 miles, y'all. 150 miles. Like, apparently he drove a good 2-3 hours away from the crime scene. And that's where they were able to obtain him.
Now, relatives of the shooting victims are left grappling over why this happened.
I was just thinking how we never know when we're at the wrong place at the wrong time, because this was so all of a sudden, and it was just like a lot of things racing through my head.
Overnight, the South Korean Foreign Ministry told CBS News that 4 people killed were of Korean descent. Several advocacy groups warned that these shootings are likely to heighten fears among all Asian Americans. I mentioned earlier the spike in hate crimes against them. By one estimate, a 150% increase in those crimes last year. Anthony, just disturbing on so many levels.
Yeah, on so many levels, Mark. Thank you. One group is calling for immediate action, even though we do not know for sure that this is a hate crime. In a statement, that group, Stop Asian American and Pacific Islander Hate, says there have been nearly 3,800 reported hate incidents in the U.S. since March of last year. And, of course, President Biden singled out violence and hate against Asian Americans during his primetime speech to the nation just last week. This
Most
is
definitely did.
very concerning. I mean, given everything we now know about what's been going on.
Yeah, and we have to keep saying we don't know for sure, but let's just say this. The signs look very troubling. So much so,
even that police officer indicated.
I was just going to say the police officer said, listen, if we have any Asian spas, we need to be on the lookout for them.
And even as we await...
So upsetting.
Even as we await word from law enforcement, we can't say definitively this will only deepen fear in the Asian community.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, it's this story is very sad, right? This is terrible. All right. I have a lot of mixed emotions, you know, like obviously no matter what, the shooting is very, very bad and it's terrible and it shouldn't have happened. And I feel like a lot of it is rooted from things that were said in the past, if you know what I mean. And there is and due to what's going on with the world right now, with the Rona, etc., there's a lot of people that feel some type of way about how they think China, you know what I'm saying? So
sounds like these are Koreans, though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you know, just because say that anybody said Nigeria. And then this guy goes off and shoots a whole bunch of black people. He doesn't know. He can't sit there and pick out who's Nigerian and who's not. He just knows that person has melanin in his skin. Bop, bop, bop. See what I'm saying?
Sure.
So,
yeah.
But what I'm trying to say here is there is something there's a stigma that has been created with the Rona and with Asian Americans, and with how the economy, being able to work, not being able to work, being broke, being poor, all those things. You put all those things together, somebody out there is going to have a breaking point and do something like Robert Aaron Long did last night. Clearly, there is things that were said over the past year that has just been growing. This is a seed that's been planted. And now we start to see this thing, which is now, at first it was just like a trending thing, I guess. Now it's a real problem. And I mean, and like I said, I even said it on my Saturday show. I was like, hey, we're going to have to sit back and see what happens, because obviously we can't sit here and instantly say that this is a huge, like, regardless, racism is a problem. Violence against minorities, people of color, is a problem. But the fact that they said, you know, this whole Asian American, you know, violence against Asian Americans thing, you know, at first you're kind of like, it'll pass. You know what I mean? This will be a trend for like 2 seconds and it'll pass. No, now's the real thing. Now he made it official. Now he made it officially a thing. Now, because I mean, and here it is though. There's a lot of people out here that have been attacked. There's a lot of people that have been black people that have been murdered. You know, we have hundreds of years of violence against black people still to this day. And I'm not going to sit here and say that there isn't violence against Asians, but now they're having the same issues as we do because of something that has been planted in the brain, in the back of the cerebral, right? That has now manifested into something much worse. And now people are starting to act out. You got to remember, this is something that has been planted for now a year. Oh, we're shutting down because of China. Doesn't matter. if that person is Japanese, Laos, Thai, Vietnamese, or Chinese, or Korean, doesn't even matter. They're Asian. They're the problem. Boom. Here's the focus now. You see what I'm saying? So now it is officially turned into a problem. And I feel like a jerk. I feel bad. I truly feel bad because of what I said on Saturday's show. Because I said, I think it's just a fad and it's going to move on. It's not. Now this kid, this jerk, decided to go bust through a bunch of doors and hurt innocent people who are just doing their jobs, doing whatever they need to do in those massage parlors. I mean, you know, whatever they do in those massage parlors is up to them, right? It's their business. But it's sad. It's sad. You know, there's something more to this. I wanted to show you guys. There's another video that I wanted you guys to see. That's a little bit more of a kind of like another deep dive, well, not a deep dive, but an explanation of like this particular guy. So this is another angle, another story from another news outlet, but I wanted you guys to see this. And then, of course, there's a video that I wanted you guys to see as well from an actual politician that is Asian. And so I wanted to show you guys this really quick. Here we go.
All right, we want to take a look at the suspect now who authorities arrested in connection with the deadly shootings. He's 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long of Woodstock. An extensive manhunt coming to an end in Crisp County more than 9 hours ago. That's about 150 miles south of Atlanta. Police say they used a pit maneuver to stop his vehicle as he drove down I-75. People all over the state and the nation have been reacting to this tragedy, many emotional and supportive for the victims and the Asian community. Liza Lucas is tracking it all for us as new reaction pours into the 11 Alive newsroom. Liza?
Yes, Sheba, that hashtag Stop Asian Hate is circulating widely across social media this morning amidst the calls for prayers and support, also calls for action. And some of our local leaders, including Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, have been sharing his prayers for the family. We heard also a tweet coming down from Senator Raphael Warnock overnight, who said his heart is broken after these tragic events. And AG Chris Carr calling for justice in these cases. This is something we've been following throughout the course of the night, and we want to bring you to the attention of one of those tweets that came in. Jeremy Lin, former Hawks player, you can see his tweet right there. He says, "To my Asian American family, please take time to grieve, but know you're loved, seen, and important. We have to keep standing up, speaking out, rallying together," he says, "and fighting for change. We cannot lose hope." And you can see that hashtag again being used right there. Also a statement from Asian Americans Advancing Justice right here in Atlanta, really bringing this into focus. They say they're shaken by the violence in our city here in Atlanta. They say they're gathering info about what happened and the needs of those impacted. And now is the time to hold the victims and their families in our hearts and with light. Now, just 2 days ago, this was prior to the shooting, we have a video here also circulating online and being retweeted by many. I've retweeted it on my feed as well. This is State Senator Michelle Au, Dr. Michelle Au of the 48th District, speaking out against violence and racism in the Asian American community right there on the Georgia Senate floor just 2 days ago. And now here we are here in Atlanta.
You know, this is sad, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And Panda is right. You know, we all need to have each other's backs. And it's more than just, it transcends just Asians. It transcends to everyone. Because now it's turning it, what's sad is that maybe we have been focused on one side too long or maybe too much. And we're kind of averting our eyes towards things that are really of other races and other groups of people that have been discriminated, violently ostracized. And I feel like it's time for us all to be there for each other. And don't get me wrong, and don't be surprised if like AWA, Asians with Attitudes, or this whole hate stop. I forgot what the hashtag is. I feel like a jerk now. Stop Asian hate, right? Turns into a full-on movement. If this continues, and if there is no, and if there's no justice for those people that were killed, which apparently they say majority of them were women, Asian women that were killed. If they don't do something about it, like of course they have arrested the suspect. He is behind bars, which is great news. But imagine if that person was still able to walk the streets. There would be absolute pandemonium in Atlanta right now. Absolutely. What are you going to say, David?
Yeah, I was just I was mostly thinking about, the violence is occurring against East Asians in particular. I don't really know how much racial violence there was against East Asians before the coronavirus, but it definitely does seem to be on the rise. And like you said, I guess most Americans can't tell Chinese from other people. Kind of reminds me of, I guess, like after 9/11, where people were attacking Indian Sikhs because they thought their turbans made them Saudi Arabian, which isn't even remotely related. I guess it's the same thing here, but yeah, there have been people, I guess, like promoting this idea that it's caused by Asians as opposed to being a government problem.
Yeah.
So I do see why people are directing more violence to East Asians, even if it's they're completely wrong and ignorant on pretty much every aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it makes sense in that sort of paranoid, not really cognizant of your own reasoning type thing that you see with some of these extremists.
Right. I mean, you got to remember here, though, too. We live in a world where each and every single American wants to find a scapegoat. We live in the United States of scapegoats. We want to have a visual target, a visual thing to blame for said things to happen. It can't just be a virus came in and is going through and is killing people and we have to be locked down and, all this stuff. There's different variants that are coming through, blah, blah, blah. Right? We have to have something. We have to have a villain. We have to have a villain. We have to have a villain without it. Like, that's the thing. We have to have a villain. It can't be just like, okay, this is what's going on and we're going to have to deal with it. No, we have to have a focus and a villain. We have to have the arch nemesis. You know what I mean? That arch enemy to point our finger at, saying the reason why it's because of these people. This thing. They're the ones who do it. They're the ones who did it. China, for example. So then you go through a whole year of crap. Let's be real. This sucks. Being locked up sucks. You know what I'm saying? Being able to go and have fun has turned into a polarizing, ridiculous thing now. Let's be real. I mean, it's necessary, but let's be real. You go out on spring break and go hang out with your friends, take a group photo, and oh my God, sans mask? Holy crap, you're the worst person in the world. Suddenly, you're getting canceled by your friends, your family, etc. They're going, you better, no, you better go get tested 17 different times before you see my ass. You were out with your friends on a boat without a mask on. How dare you? How dost thou do that? Right? It's become that. So you can't even go and have a good time anymore, man. Without having to, without the fear of getting judgment passed on you. Okay, this is the world that we live in. Then on top of that, we can't work the way we used to work. We're stuck inside our house. People are, you know, if you want to go work out, you got to work out outside or at your home. A lot of times there's a bunch of solitude. You know what I'm saying? Some people got really good at playing solitary, y'all. Really good at solitary because that's all you got. Some people are the masters of Pornhub. Real talk. Because you got nothing else to do. So you have all that for a year. It builds up, it builds up, it builds up, it builds up. China. Eventually somebody gonna do something like this. I'm not justifying it at all. But eventually somebody's gonna crack and go, it's all because of these people. Because we have somebody to point our finger at. And that's exactly what just happened. That's why you're seeing all these videos of Asian people getting pushed down for no reason or getting assaulted in the middle of the street for no reason because they're all thinking in the back of their head, this seed has been planted in the back of their minds now. Bruh, I remember when 9/11 happened, okay? They finally had a scapegoat. They just pointed it at anybody that just, I don't know, looked different. Muslim, any person that was Muslim, right? Then there were so many stories that were sprouting out about people that were tripping about getting on planes with people who were Muslim, who were, you know, obviously you could see physically Muslim. They were tripping over it. I don't want to fly. I don't want to fly. Why not? You know, Muhammad over here is making me feel uncomfortable. Because America needed a scapegoat, needed a visual something to point
went on
at.
for almost like a year with people canceling flights because people don't want to fly with who they thought might be a Muslim, even though they weren't always Muslims that they were even identifying. But I mean, this is
But you have these scapegoats, you have these things. And this is exactly what's happening right now. Now it's coming to fruition. It's coming to full circle right now. Because it's been sitting and festering for a year. And now people who have had nothing but time on their hands, sitting around, losing their minds, going, where's the next dollar coming from? Where they're just sitting there. It's all because of them. It's all because of you. And that's literally what's happening now. Which is sad and wrong. And now we are starting to see hashtag stop, what was it? Stop Asian hate. I forgot. Now I feel like a jerk again.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Stop Asian
That was
hate.
it.
Because of this. This thing started a year ago, baby. This started a year ago. And now there are people who have to unlearn that particular hate. Now we got this hate towards Asian people. Like, bruh, come on, man. Can't we, like, literally, Rodney King, baby. Can't we all just get along? Real talk. Can't we all just get along? Do we really need to go through this right now? You know, I wanted to show you guys this speech because this is important too. And this is the speech from this lady, Dr. Michelle Au. And she's talking about racism against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. She says in this particular tweet, and then I'll show you guys this video. But it says right here, let me blow this up so you guys can see a little bit better. Racism against AAPI Americans is not new. Otherization of AAPI Americans is not new. But the motto of the United States, I don't even know what that says, out of many, one. Asian Americans are part of our country's plurality. We are some of the many, and we are part of that one. So I wanted you guys to see this video so that we can take a listen at what she has to say here.
Past year. Thank you, Mr. President. So I rise today to speak about a topic that I feel has not received enough attention over the past year. It's a new chapter in a very old story. I think sometimes we see it play out in videos, sometimes it's in cell phone recordings, sometimes it's footage off of building security cameras, but always it is horrifying. Asian elders being violently, sometimes fatally, physically assaulted. We see octogenarians being shoved to the ground, elderly women being slashed at with knives or assaulted with thrown acid. Asian pedestrians being verbally accosted, threatened, spit on. A middle school student being told by his classmates that people like him were the cause of the so-called China virus and Kung flu. And when he protested, noting his family wasn't even Chinese, he was repeatedly punched in the face by his own classmates.
Notice, just so you know, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, David, I love you, but at the same time you said, oh, they're Korean. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If you are of Asian descent, you are the target. It doesn't even matter anymore. There's no way they're going to go, excuse me, sir, are you Chinese? And if you say, well, yes, I am, sir. Bang! You see what I'm saying? It's kind of tough to do that. Now it's just, if you're Asian, you're Asian. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And that's sad. Also, I'll say this too. I feel like I've said a million times before, I feel like a jerk because I didn't realize how serious this was until the last 24 hours. That this type of, like what she's reading, I didn't realize it was that serious. I thought it was just a little bit of here and there sprinkled around. You know what I'm saying? But this is a real thing. Go ahead, David. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say it seems a lot more prevalent than I realized, I guess, because obviously it doesn't get as much attention as some other forms of racism, just because it's not as prevalent.
Absolutely.
I guess, or maybe it is. Maybe it is somewhat more prevalent, and we just don't know about it. I mean, that's definitely possible. So, yeah, I guess this is kind of like eye-opening to me. I mean, I knew there was obviously some racism directed against Asians, but I didn't realize quite how bad it had become.
It's surprising how much this is like a thing. And let's hear a little bit more of what she has to say here.
According to a report released earlier this month, violence against Asian Americans has increased by nearly 150% in the past year. But the vast majority of these incidents aren't recorded and shared on social media, and many, if not most, are never reported at all. In the past year, the organization Stop AAPI Hate, which tracks discrimination against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, has received more than 3,000 first-hand accounts of anti-Asian American harassment or attacks, compared to roughly 100 incidents annually in the previous years. And, not to perpetuate the stereotype that Asian people are good at math, but by my calculation, that's a 30-fold increase in what look to be racially motivated crimes. So larger cities with higher densities of AAPI residents have garnered most of the news coverage on this front. But Georgia should not consider itself immune from this epidemic. And to be clear, the epidemic I'm referring to is not COVID-19, but racism towards Asian Americans. In the last year, 32 incidents of hate crimes towards our AAPI community here in Atlanta have been reported. This includes one incident in which one customer at a store assaulted another Asian customer, shouting, and I quote, "Effing, nasty, dirty, conspiracy Chinese. You're why we gotta wear masks, you disease-spreading bee."
See that?
Word. F your people.
You see this? These are the pieces that are being planted. These are the seeds that are being planted in everybody's ears right now. Or has been, in everybody's brain. Well, I'm not going to sit here and say everybody's brain, but there's a lot of people out here that are willing to absorb this information and automatically blame it solely on Asian Americans. That's insane, yo.
It includes an incident in a pharmacy where an Asian customer was aggressively sprayed all over her body with Lysol and told, quote, "You're the infection, go home, we don't want you here." And it includes incidents covered last April in the AJC where racist plaques were posted on private property. These plaques read, quote, Wuhan plague, and depicted Winnie the Pooh eating a bat with chopsticks below the words.
Oh, boy.
Charming. The thing is, racism against API Americans is not new. Otherization or exoticization of AAPI Americans is not new. Violence against AAPI Americans is not new. Recall that our country once built internment camps for Japanese Americans during World War II simply because our country could not conceive that people who looked as foreign as I do could be trusted to have allegiance to America. The key to social change is participation, especially when you feel that voices like yours aren't always heard. That's why I'm here. That's why I know the senator from the 5th is here, because Asian Americans are an important part of our communities. They are an important part of Georgia. And we are an important part of the fabric of this country. The motto of the United States is E pluribus unum. It means out of many, one. Asian Americans are part of our country's plurality. We are some of the many, and we are part of that one. And all I'm asking right now, as the first East Asian state senator in Georgia, is simply to fully consider us as part of your communities. Recognize that we need help, we need protection, and we need people in power to stand up with us against hate. Being elected to represent our communities means representing everyone in our communities. And I implore you today to raise your awareness and stand up against discrimination towards our Asian American neighbors and friends.
You know, it's crazy to me that this is a conversation that needs to be had, that she needs to go up there and make this speech and bring awareness to something that should be addressed, that should be talked about, that should already have been remedied, that we are still having certain types of injustices like this happening. And like I said, I'll say it again, I feel like an absolute jerk because I have not put I guess my focus or looked down that particular alley. You know what I mean? And I'll be the first to say that. You know, I guess it's been so black and white lately that as far as injustices and all that you just forget that there are other races out there that are dealing with the same injustices. And last night was a prime example of that. We all need to start taking care of each other. Period. I feel like it's funny because we were talking about it last night. BLM and if it should be, rebranded or changed or blah, blah, blah. But it's like there are so many other things that need to be addressed and protested about and defended that it gets really murky, And I just hope that at some point, isn't the whole goal is peace and love on earth, one love, all races getting along together, etc. That is the goal. But there is certain things that have been created for a whole year now that is being the root and the cause of this said hatred that's going on right now in the country. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. I really do hope that we can figure something out and help people prosper, help all races come together and transcend from this racist crap that's going on. My thoughts and prayers go out to the families that lost their loved ones yesterday. As we already know, multiple people were shot during this shooting, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And my eyes are open now. Like I said, my eyes are completely open now, for sure. We got to go into a quick commercial break because we haven't done one of those in a very long time. But when we come back, we got to talk about, man, there's so many other things we got to talk about, yo. Woo! We got to talk about some stuff. We most definitely got to talk about Sharon Osbourne, the talk. It looks like there's more allegations, y'all. And we got a soundbite or a video clip of her actually saying the word ghetto, which she says she never says. Yeah, we got to talk about that. We're going to take a look at that here very shortly. Please stick around. If you haven't done yet, hit that like button down below. Let's get those likes all the way up to 100. I would really, really appreciate it. Stick around. We will be doing a speak on it very, very shortly. So get your fingers ready on that phone and all that. We'll be right back. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and sticking around, being a part of the conversation today. Like I always say, if this is your first time checking out this show, please go hit that like button down below. That would really, really mean a lot. Also, I do have a membership, so please crush that join button. It's only $4.99 a month. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I'll be doing on that in the membership area, so please go check it out. Check out the perks and support the show if you don't mind. But yes, don't forget to crush that subscribe button, hit that like button down below, and let's get into the rest of the show. There's some stories to tell, man. This is some crazy stuff, y'all. Now, Sharon Osbourne. Yes, I know we're talking about Sharon Osbourne again. Well, see, there's a thing that's going on. Apparently, it looks like they are going to be holding off for another week. They're putting the talk on hiatus for another week because now there are new allegations being said about Sharon Osbourne's apparent racist comments. Yeah, here it is. Thank you to the Daily Mail. There is a video that I'm going to be showing you, and it's very, very short, and it's in this article as well. But we need to look at this real quick. All right. So let's just see. She has now faced criticism, because of her little spat, her racist argument that she was having with Cheryl Underwood live on the show, and of course her defending her defending Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle, and of course because of his Meghan Markle comments. And like I said, it's crazy how quickly Meghan Markle's interview is now annihilating so many other people's careers. It's annihilating people's careers and lives right now. And she happens to be, Sharon Osbourne happens to be in the wake of this tidal wave of stuff. People getting just their lives destroyed because of this this bombshell of an interview that Meghan Markle had with Oprah and Prince Harry. Let's not forget. So apparently insiders have told this particular article, DailyMail.com, that Osbourne was set up to fail by CBS executives over her defense of Morgan in a bid to oust her. And she, of course, is the highest paid host from the show. But several sources, including former co-hosts Leah Remini and Holly Robinson Peete, so Leah Remini is coming out too. This is very interesting, have since alleged that Osbourne has a history of bullying and racist language. Yeah. So let's get down to it, and there's a reason why they're showing these particular ladies. So she's standing next to who is this? Julie Chen. Then you of course have Sarah Gilbert, who is here. This is Sarah Gilbert again, right here. All right, and this is the cast, the very vast, very colorful show that was on. Now, this is the video I'm going to be showing you guys here shortly. But sources say Osbourne repeatedly referred to her co-host, her then co-host, Chen, as wonton and slanty eyes. I'm not kidding. I'm just reading it right here. I'm sorry for saying that. If it triggers anybody or offends anybody, of course, I'm just reading this from the article, okay? Now, they also claim that Osbourne referred to another co-host, Sarah Gilbert, the one I just showed you right up here, okay? If you don't remember her, she was on Roseanne. She was one of the kids on Roseanne, that hit sitcom, okay? She also refers her then co-host, Sarah Gilbert, who is also openly gay, as a P-word liquor, a stussy liquor, and a fish eater. So these comments are now coming out, and now she's not able. They're putting the show on hold right now once again, as they look into this more. So, of course, after all these claims involving Chen and Gilbert, Osbourne's publicist said the talk show host was disappointed but unfazed and hardly surprised by the lies. The only thing worse than a disgruntled former employee is a disgruntled former talk show host, he said. For 11 years, Sharon has been kind, collegial, and friendly with her hosts, as evidenced by throwing them parties, inviting them to her home in the UK, and other gestures of kindness too many to name. Sharon is disappointed but unfazed and hardly surprised by these lies, the recasting of history, and the bitterness coming out at this moment. She will survive this, as she always has, and her heart will remain open and good because she refuses to let others take her down. Osbourne has found herself in the center of a race row ever since she defended her longtime friend Morgan during a heated on-air discussion with Underwood last week, which we already covered. Now, here is the clip that you need to hear for yourselves. Okay, let's take a listen.
That's what you're supposed to be thinking about. What did you just say?
This is what I'm going to say
Was
about
that
Leah,
in
though.
English?
Leah,
Why not in the proper King's English, Queen English? Well, Sharon.
Here it comes.
Ghetto. That's what you're supposed to be thinking.
I'm gonna play it one more time.
What did you just say?
This is what I'm going to say
Is that in English?
Is that even English?
King's English, Queen English. No, Sharon. It's all ghetto.
You heard it from the horse's mouth. And remember when we talked about this the other day, she said herself. She said herself that she's never used that word unless there was only one time she was talking about it with like a Holocaust, like a reference to the Holocaust.
Jewish ghettos.
The Jewish ghettos. You heard it right there. What is that? Is that even English you just said? Right?
Yeah,
That's so ghetto. And she's never done that before? Caught red-handed.
Glad they got that on camera, because that was like one of the things that they said she said, but we didn't have proof of, and now we do. So that does changes the aspect a little bit now that we know it's true for sure.
Facts, man. Facts. So there you go. Now you see it. Under investigation. I don't think she's going to be back on the talk anytime soon. Sorry. If she's sitting there going slanty-eyed, calling Sarah Gilbert a fish eater, like, what? That's so ghetto. What is that? Is that English coming out of your mouth? That's so ghetto. She sits there and says, I've never said those words. I've never said these words.
She said them very loudly.
There you go, guys. There you go. There you go. Okay? There you go. Just saying. Okay? Proof in the pudding. Oh, I've never used that word unless it's for reference to the ghettos in the Holocaust. How dare thou?
I do find it kind of funny that there's an Osbourne telling people to speak more clearly. Because come on, who can understand them half the time anyway? Especially Ozzy.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. And that's pretty much what he sounds. And she understands him perfectly, apparently. So, but then he goes on stage and sings. He's like, why do you do, like, and it's like perfect. Perfect. I don't get it. I don't know any of his music, really, I don't. What's a famous song from him? Real quick, help me out.
From who?
From Ozzy.
Oh,
what's a famous song? Old school, not new. I'm talking about old, like classic Ozzy Osbourne song.
I guess like something from Black Sabbath, probably.
Yeah, I'm saying like anybody in the chat, please comment down below. I would really appreciate it because that would help because I don't know any. Crazy Train. Crazy. That's how it goes, right? Millions of people. And he sings it just fine. But it's all recordings, obviously. He's just up there just acting like he's singing. You know what I mean? DJ Bell, I don't know No More Tears, but there you go. Do you know any of this stuff, bruh?
Me? I mostly only listen to I listen to him in Black Sabbath, but after that I don't care about the Osbournes at all. Okay.
Going off the rails on the crazy train. Something like that?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. It's all coming back. You know, those are classics, so obviously everybody knows that stuff. You're like, bang, got it. You know what I mean? But anyway, dude is crazy. Train. But apparently his wife is too, and she's very forgetful, and she's very racist. She goes, I didn't say those words. I never say that word. Never. And then all of a sudden, ghetto. Boom. Got him. Well, there you go, guys. Sorry, quick story, but I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that story because, you know, I'm trying to do these follow-ups and everything, and that is a piece that you needed to know, okay? So, moving on, we definitely have got to, I'm going to throw this over to you, David, because we definitely have got to talk. I didn't have space to put it into the title, but we have to talk about the immigrants that have been trying to cross the border, the people that are still in detention centers, basically, and how this is starting to become a huge problem right now. So David's got the story. What's a guam, bruh?
All right. So Biden has been a little complicated with his takeover of the border so far. He's been getting criticism from both sides pretty much because at the very initial point, he wasn't changing anything. He wasn't allowing additional people to come in at first. But then he started to allow some afterward. Originally, it was because of the COVID. But once he started letting people come in afterward, there started to be photos of his basically the same child camps as before, arguably a little worse. Even AOC and other Democrats were calling him out about it. And around that same time, he started to point out, he's almost Trump-like in some ways of his points, that there's a crisis at the border where you have a mass number of children entering without parents and other issues like that. So they expect to expand the amount of children are detained in these camps and prisons. And House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy said there is no other way to claim it than a Biden border crisis. Mind you, he's a Republican when he says that. But some of those movements were already on their way when it happened. I think the first movement started in January, just before the inauguration. And around that time, from January to mid-February, they got 15,000 unaccompanied minors. That's 15,000 unaccompanied minors. Just want to say that again. That's a lot of children. And right now, they are holding approximately 3,000 children in their detention camps, which is higher than it's ever been before. So basically, the prison camps are even more booming since Trump is gone. They've been getting more funding. They got a little bit of decorations, but for the most part, they're still going on. AOC, I already mentioned, but she thinks it's terrible, which, I agree. Most people that are Democrats and aren't neoliberals seem to be standing up against it to some degree. And most of the children are aged from 14 to 17. This is also the highest number of apprehensions that the Border Patrol has ever done. And right now there's really not great information on exactly what's going down there because no one's really sure how many people are coming over right now. There was a large group of people that hit the border about, I think, 2 weeks ago. That was over, I think it was over 2,000 people alone that pretty much just walked across the border. Right. They have been claiming asylum in some places, but for the most part, there's no real way to stop the mass immigration. And the fact is there's actually more of the illegal immigration coming on right now than we have of Border Patrol. So physically, it's not possible for them to stop all of that. And last year they stopped almost 1 million people at the southern border. 80,000 of them were unaccompanied minors. So they're expecting to hit higher numbers than that this year. And President Biden is he's calling on FEMA to do some quick humanitarian and logistical aids, but he hasn't really expanded on it too much. He promised to take a more humane approach to this, but so far there haven't been any significant changes from the previous regime in terms of immigration and detaining children and exportations. It's pretty much, when it comes to the border, on the same line. It's just getting arguably worse because there's more people coming in, and the children are being maintained, in my opinion, in worse conditions than they were before. Because before they had cots, they were in buildings. Now they're in these deployment tents on bunk beds, and you can't really sleep in those tents. I've been in them a lot, and anytime someone opens the door, the whole place feels like it's about to collapse. So it's not really a place to sleep, even though that's what it's for, I guess, in this case. So this year, this year they're expecting them maybe to reach up to 2 million apprehensions at the border. And like I said, you're getting people from both sides jumping in on this. Actually, he's gotten some minor praise from the right, but for the most part, the left, the farther left than the neoliberals and Biden's kind, are very angry about it, of course, because it hasn't changed anything. They added a Bien Vito sign and added a few flowers, and that's pretty much it. And we're still having these massive storms coming in. We don't know the exact number, like I said. It's more chaotic than we can tell. And they have changed it too, so they're no longer necessarily calling them arrests. This just happened recently. Yeah, they're calling them encounters now. So they can hide how many people they're actually rolling up, putting in these children prisons and stuff, and we won't ever really know. Yeah. So it's just getting worse, in my opinion. Like I said.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
The last thing is some of the intermediate states, like Mexico, is blaming some of the initial statements that Biden made on the mass immigration that started to occur, and that they've been having troubles themselves with so many people coming through. But in practicality, Biden, even though he said, he wants to open up the borders and things, he's mostly kept it the same. Like I said, detaining children, separating people. And like I said, 15,000 children recently have been separated from their parents. Or rather, they were unaccompanied, according to the government. So they might not have been separated from their parents. They could have been smuggled across by coyotes or actual, other slavers instead of their parents. But we don't know that for sure. And we know that with the previous, just a few months ago, they were arresting people that were with their children and saying they weren't their children. I don't see why that would change right now. I just don't think they're talking about it, basically. And that's really the gist of it. We still have more people coming. There's been several caravans of a few thousand people, mostly refugee types from more chaotic places in Mexico and Central America. And we don't really have an answer to it right now. So they're expanding their vaccines for illegal aliens, which is immigrants that aren't registered here. They are starting to give them vaccinations in some places to try and mitigate the possibility of making the virus worse from them being here, just because we have more people, allows more mutations, and also allows more entry of different vectors. So I really don't know what they're going to do here. Biden's kind of gone back and forth between stopping them and letting them in. But he's still detaining the children, which I think is by far the worst part of the entire situation.
It is the worst part of the situation, but I also got to sit here and give him a tiny bit of the benefit of the doubt. He's only been in office for 60 some odd days. There's a lot that he's trying to take care of. I'm not sitting here saying that he shouldn't be making this a priority. He most definitely should be. He needs to address this issue with the quickness, and he shouldn't be sitting here saying, oh, I'm going to do this, that, and the third, and just let these people still be treated the same way that they've been treated. They've just basically been moved to one place, and they're still being treated the exact same way. Kids are still sleeping on the floor. Kids are still being treated. Kids that are part of it are still being treated poorly. Now, as far as when they say that they're going to be bringing the families together and all that, like trying to reunite families and everything, I don't know anything yet about that as far as like if there is proof positive, if those things are actually happening. But I do have to say, he just walked in. That he needs to start working quickly, yes. But let's get this thing moving. You know what I'm saying? Let's give him a second to actually do this. Now, 5K said something that I do agree. If they were to build something out or take an abandoned building and build that out so that they can put these families in these homes. There are plenty of abandoned, unused buildings all over that they could easily use. That they could, dress up, of course, and make sure that they're within the guidelines of safety guidelines and all that, so that it's not like they're eating, around things where kids are eating lead paint or something like that. But they could literally build out a hotel or like a makeshift type hotel where the families could all be in one place and everything. I mean, there's enough funding. I feel like there should be enough funding where no kid has to sleep on the floor, where every kid has a soft bed to lay in. You see what I'm saying? Until they get this thing figured out. That's one thing that they could do just to get things going. That's it.
I agree.
That's it. And I understand, I'm not sitting here trying to be all on his side, on Biden's side. I want him to wrap it up, B. It's like orchestral music is on. It's been on. It was on when Trump was in office. It was on. The orchestral music's been playing. Their fingers are getting bloody. They've been playing this long. So now it's time to wrap it up. But it needs to be a priority. It needs to be something that he looks into, because as we are seeing, there are more people trying to cross the border. And I want to sit here and say this, though. I think the reason why there are more people trying to cross the border now, even more now, because Biden is in office. That's what I really think is going on. I think that's why there's even more people coming in. Because they're going, oh, Biden will give us a chance. That's what I think. That might sound a little crazy, but that could very well be what it is. They're going, hey, well, when Trump was in office, there was no way they were going to tear our family apart. You know, there's no way. Biden is going to give us a chance. Hey, you know what I mean? Eureka, everybody, come on. Biden's been elected. We're good. Come on, come on. That's what I think is happening. Hence the reason why everybody and their mama is trying to cross the border. They just need to figure that part out. They need to figure that part out. And Biden needs to get the people that are already here a proper place to stay. Treat them like they're actual human beings. Don't give them just tinfoil little freaking things that you get after you run a marathon up in this bee. Give them a mattress to lay on, a pillow to put their head on, figure out what's going to happen, process them, either send them back or let them through. And that's it. But don't give me this BS saying that you are doing things if you're not really doing it. You can't sit here and hide in plain sight, baby. You can't. You can't sit here and go, we are doing everything we can to figure out, just help is on the way. Help is on the way. How do we know that? You're just moving one thing to another and you're doing the same thing. Lather, rinse, repeat. You're doing the same ish. These kids are still not being sheltered properly. That's BS. Go ahead, David.
I was going to say that at least during his campaign, Biden did seem to suggest that he'd be more open to immigration and opening up the border. Of course, he resented part of that when he first got in because COVID, which is a legitimate reason to curb immigration.
Right.
But then
curb your enthusiasm.
Yeah. And then he let him decided to start letting them in as well because you can't stop them enough. There still are border patrols, border checks going on, but the number of people coming in is just too many. And I think that's kind of why some of the far left are mad at him. And I don't consider myself, far left or anything, but I know that a lot of the farther left were hoping that he would open up immigration, amongst other things, like he said, and get those stimulus checks out within the first month, like he said. But he hasn't done that. So, you're starting to get a lot of hit back from the far left that he appealed to during the campaign because they feel like he's not doing what he told them to do. And that's because a lot of times he would say one thing to one group and say another to another. And he would sometimes just edge his bets a little bit so that he can make sure that he's saying the right thing to the right people at the time during the campaign. And now that he's in, he's actually responsible for the problems of the immigration. So I think that's why he is trying to stop it a little more, cracking down on it a little more. But he's just not successful just because of the numbers involved. Even with the full deployment of the Border Patrol, he hasn't been able to maintain it. And I don't think most people want to see the National Guard deployed to the border again. I don't think because I believe it was Trump that did that, and that's not something we want to see. So at least in that respect, I'm glad he hasn't called in the National Guard to try and stop this. That's not a good idea. Right. So I would say that you're right. The things he said probably made them think they're going to be a lot more welcome than they are and that they wouldn't be separated from their families. But that's just not the case. And he hasn't been saying that since he's been in office. I mean, he hasn't been saying a whole lot since he got into office. But he's pretty much just hasn't been acknowledging it since it became such a major deal. And at the same time, he still has his Border Patrol, which he's in charge of more or less. Not directly, of course, but, down the line. And he's technically in charge of them. And he's having them still stop people, separate them from their families. He was behind the camp redesign, which, like I said, it's mostly the same thing. It's just it looks a little different. It might look a little nicer, but I don't think it's any nicer for those people. That's just my guess.
No.
I've lived in both plywood shacks and deployment style tents while I was deployed, and I'd much rather be in the places they had before. That's just me, though. Just having been in both sorts of situations, because they really are giving them basically what you would get as a deployment bedroom.
Right.
That's what they've been doing, treating them like they're people deployed to Afghanistan or something and giving them the same living conditions and quarters, almost exactly the same. Like, you could go there and you would think it's a military base before you realize that they're holding children in the tents.
Like, oh, wait, there's children in here?
Yeah.
For real? Woo! This is bad. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not great. They're going, oh, we're doing so many great things and blah, blah, blah. You sure about that? You sure? You sure about that, bitey bye? You sure? You sure about that, Joey? You sure? Okay. All right, let's make sure you're really doing something. Because here's the thing. I come from a family of immigrants. My family came to this country. Well, I hate to say it like this, but my family came to this country legally. They came in, they did what they had to do. Later on, they became American citizens and all that. I can only imagine. I couldn't even imagine if my family came through during this particular time in an illegal manner, because you're trying to seek refuge. You're trying to seek help because the country that you're in is jacked up, or you just see America as the land of opportunity. And it's scary to think that you have family that are going, we have to, out of desperation, we need to get the hell out of this country. We need to get to a place where we can actually find money and we can actually put clothes on our children's backs and food in our children's mouths. And then when you cross that border, if you are successful to cross that border but get caught, you are ripped apart. There's still families that have not been reunited. As much as they sit here and say, we're uniting every single person. That's not entirely true. And I'd like to see the Carfax of that. But there are a lot of kids that are still in these detention homes that even my brother sits there and says, nah, we good. Man, the way I lived was better than what these kids are living when I was deployed. That is some serious ish. That is serious. Biden
needs children.
Say that again, sir. Say again.
I was going to say, these are just children trying to find a better life. They've already lost their parents.
Probably. Now, these are kids who are trying to seek refuge. I can only imagine. I, of course, come from a family of immigrants. I'm proud to be Haitian. I'm proud to be from my country, from Haiti. Proud of it. But I can only imagine what it would have been like to come to shore or find some other way to get through and then be ripped apart from my family, ripped apart from my parents. Or just be still with my family and my parents, but just the way we are being held, like we're dogs in a kennel. That's ridiculous. These are human beings. These are not animals. They need to figure out what needs to be taken care of with the quickness and stop sitting on this stuff. It's ridiculous that this is happening. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous it was happening way before this. Okay? Way before this. And they still haven't figured this out. We've gone through, now we're in a third president. Let me just say that. Third president, and we're still having this issue. Okay? This is in Obama era. And now we have a third president in office, and we're still dealing with this. So this has got to start to get remedied with the quickness. Because these children need opportunities. These kids need to either go back home so that they can live and prosper, or move into wherever they need to go to so that they can have a little bit of that opportunity of what America's all about. The land of opportunity. The land of becoming anything you want to become. Dreams come true here, allegedly. That's what needs to happen. So we're going to keep an eye on this because, we talked about this on a few shows back where Biden said, yeah, I'm going to do everything I can and blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, he flew all kinds of Haitians back home. Hundreds of Haitians back home that were seeking refuge in America. So we'll see if he actually sticks to what he says he's going to do. Is he going to be Bill Clinton up in this piece? Because he's doing exactly what he did, what Bill Clinton did to Haitians. We ain't got time for that, man. Yeah, help is on the way. There are people who that need help. There are other people that are trying to leave their countries because their countries are ish. Their leaders are corrupt. And there are no jobs. People are dying in the streets. They come here for refuge, and you send their asses back? You better sit down somewhere and shut the hell up, bruh. Don't feed me no lies. Don't feed me none of these lies. Do something. And do it properly. Anyway, we got to jump into the next story. This next story is, all right. This is a little bit of YouTube drama, but we are going to talk about it. Sorry, guys, but this is what we got to talk about. David Dobrik. I know I covered this story last week. For weeks now, he has been under fire over sexual assault allegations, due to a friend of his that's claiming that he was pranked several different times without his consent, to do things that he was not cool with, that were all caught in vlogs that have made thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions by now. And of course, this gentleman wants justice. Let's just say that. And if you don't know who David Dobrik is, a quick synopsis. David Dobrik is probably one of the most, he is literally YouTube's golden child. I mean, every video that he has ever done gets just crazy amounts of views and gets a lot of love, and you know, he makes millions of dollars going on YouTube, showing his friends off in these vlogs. And it's almost like he took Friends, the TV show Friends, and did a vlog version of it, except these kids get drunk all the time, do all kinds of crazy stuff, and David Dobrik just basically shoots them all and turns it into a fun little compilation. And he makes a lot of money off of that. I mean, he works with Nickelodeon right now. He has gotten a lot of love from doing these things, all right? Now, he most recently, finally, after weeks of these allegations coming out, he has finally come out with an apology video. Yes, I said it, an apology video. He's apologizing? For real though? Yup, he is. And we are going to look at this video because we need to check out this apology. We got to see it for ourselves and come up with our own conclusion. And I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Is this a fair, solid, and good enough apology? Or no? Let's take a look, shall we?
I want to come on here real quick and address some conversations that have been going on the internet. I've made over 600 videos, and I've made a bunch of TikToks, Vines, Instagram stories, tweets, the whole thing. And I'm obsessed with what I do. I love being able to make people happy for a living, and that's all that I want to do. That being said, consent is something that's super, super important to me. Whether I'm shooting with a friend or shooting with a stranger, I always make sure that whatever the video I'm putting out, I have the approval from that person. And I also acknowledge that there's times where a person can change their mind and they decide that they no longer want to be associated, they no longer want to be in the video that I'm putting up.
Now, I just want to point something out here. There's something called contracts. Contracts. This would have solved all his problems. This would have solved all his problems. Real talk. All he needed to do was have them sign a contract. Period.
And then I'll take the video down. And there's also been moments where I've looked back on videos and I realized that these don't represent me anymore and they're hurtful to other people, and I don't want them up because I've grown, you know, as a content creator and as a person, and I don't agree with some of the videos I've posted. With the Seth situation, I'm sorry to Seth because like I said, I just want to make videos where everybody in it, you know, whether you're participating or watching, is enjoying and having a good time.
Now, I just want to say something really quick because I know a lot of people are going, okay, what is this all about? What's going on? Let me just give you a quick breakdown. Seth was a member of what he called the Vlog Squad, okay? In a skit or in a prank, let's not forget, Seth is a person of color, okay? He is a black guy, all right? So just real quick. So in this particular video, David Dobrik and his boy Jason Nash, which is a over 40-year-old man, comedian, funny guy though, you know what I mean? But he's always willing to do whatever it takes for the laugh, right? So in this particular skit or prank, they pranked their friend Seth into they tell him that he's going to be making out with a girl dressed up in a gorilla outfit, in a gorilla costume. Or sorry, an old man's mask costume. And he sees the girl. He shows him the girl. And he's like, oh, okay, great. You know, he's thinking that he's attracted to her, all that kind of stuff. And so he goes, okay, so we're going to go and get her fixed, like get her ready and everything. What they do is they switch people. And instead of it being the girl, it's Jason Nash, a dude, right? And he says, as soon as she comes in, you just make out with her, just go all out. You know, it's for this skit and all that stuff. So they do that. The guy comes in dressed up as a old man mask, and they go into town on each other. All right? Seth, unbeknownst to him, is being told to do this because he thinks he's making out with a girl. Later on, throughout this thing, David goes, hey, Seth. He's like, what? And then the guy takes off the mask. Jason takes off the mask and is like, hey, honey. And of course, Seth loses his mind going, oh my God, you got me, bro, you got me, man. Oh my God. Right? So that video went crazy viral. Okay. Because it's David Dobrik. He was getting made fun of, like Seth was being made fun of. He was getting harassed in the streets. He's a black guy. He's a black guy from Compton. There's a whole lot of stuff. First off, in my personal opinion, just a side commentary, I would have whooped they asses if this actually was real. And I would never want one stitch of that video being seen, ever. But it got put out, right? Video got crazy viral. So then David turns to Seth and says, hey, can I do this again to you? And Seth literally says in a video, he says, there's no way you can do that to me again. There ain't no way you can do that to me again. So sure, why not? Verbal consent, right? Next thing you know, he sets up this whole thing, another thing, whole elaborate thing. He gives off this. Seth thinks that he is getting, that he has just booked a huge commercial, because he's an actor and he's trying to get out there. So he went to an audition. Like this, David Dobrik set this whole thing up, right? So then he's like, hey, you're going to go and do this thing. When he gets this gig, the person who, like the producer's like, okay, you're going to have to show up. You're going to be in this commercial. You're going to be making out with this person dressed up as a gorilla. And there's a whole bunch of gorillas around him. It's the gorillas for me that makes me feel some type of way. But anyway, they're sitting there. He starts making out with this person in the gorilla outfit because he's acting in this commercial. And then all of a sudden, David Dobrik breaks through the set with his camera and goes, hey, Seth. And Seth turns to the camera. He's like, I got you. Jason takes off the mask and goes, hey, honey. And he goes, oh, my God, I can't believe you got me again, man. Right? So then he goes later on, a year or two later, he goes to another podcast, Seth does, and puts this whole thing out there going, I was not cool with any of this. I did not like that I was being pranked into this. I didn't want to make out with any guys, etc., etc., etc. So for weeks, this has been going on. And everyone's sitting here going, why hasn't David Dobrik said anything as far as an apology? He hasn't done a damn thing, right? Until now. So this is his apology. He just apologized to Seth, basically going, I apologize to Seth. That's it. Let's continue.
And I missed the mark with that one. And I'm really sorry. I truly, truly am. And with people in my life that I don't film with anymore, like Dom and, the other people that I no longer film with, I chose to distance myself because I don't align with some of the actions, and I don't stand for any kind of misconduct, and I've been really disappointed by some of my friends, and for that reason I've separated from a lot of them. I think with any video I make, my main purpose is to make people happy and inspire people and
make a lot of money.
I never want anything to get in the way of that. And
of making
I'm
money.
Sorry if I've let you down, and things like that won't happen again. And I learned from my mistakes. And I also believe that actions speak a lot louder than words. And, you can take my word for it that I'm going to change, but I'll also show you and I'll prove to you that, the mistakes I made before won't be happening again.
Please continue consuming my stuff so you buy my stuff.
That's it. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Hey, guys.
Okay, so there it is. There's the thing. Now, there's something that I feel some type of way about, and it's something that I want you guys to see on this page, okay? Now, this page, let me just show it really quick. This page, now you got to understand, David Dobrik has millions of subscribers on multiple platforms, right? He has a platform called just David Dobrik, which has like roughly around 19 million subscribers, okay? That's his main channel. That's his main bread and butter, okay? So he goes and he says his I'm sorry, let's talk video, but where he ends up posting it is on a completely different platform, a completely different channel called his podcast called Views that only has 1.7 million subscribers. So he posts this on a smaller channel than actually putting this on his main channel. Why? Why, you ask? Why? Because he doesn't want anybody to see this. I mean, sure, he still has 1.7 million subscribers on this channel, so it's still a big channel, but it's not his main channel. Then also, on top of that, notice comments are turned off. Dislike ratio stuff has been turned off. He just put this up just to be like, all right, I finally got to just say what I need to say. Like, I need to address this, so we need to address it. So there it is. I'm sorry. Let's move on. That's literally what it is. To me, it's whack. To me, it's absolutely whack. Because I feel like it's a watered down, very, very watered down apology that doesn't even need, he might as well have not done anything. He might as well have not posted that apology. In my personal opinion. I apologize to Seth. I'm sorry. I apologize to Seth. I really like making videos and I just like making people happy and all that. I think it's a cop-out. It sucks. The other ideas too, and I just said it during the apology video. You know, another way he could have solved all these issues is if he had contracts. That's it. Contracts signed by the people, because there's other allegations that have been put out a whole lot. There have been other allegations of him getting people drunk so that he can shoot content of them being drunk and doing outlandish things, etc. There's been other sexual assault allegations from, being put on other members of his vlog squad. All kinds of stuff that's been circulating. But one thing that could have saved his ass or kept him in the clear is if he had those people sign contracts. And that's it. Same thing with Seth, the whole situation with him. Hey, I want to do a prank on you, but you know what? I need you to sign this contract really quick before we do anything. You know? And what are the confines of what is cool and what's not? Or he could have just said, hey, here's the plan. I'm going to prank you and you're going to make out with this dude. Are you cool with it? And then that would have been the done deal. That would have been the deal. Sign this contract really quick because I don't want this stuff coming back to haunt me later. And that's it. All these prank shows are fake anyway. So why do that to this kid? Then when the kid brings it up and says, hey, the kid brings it up and says, hey, I don't want to get, as Olivia said, punked. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get punked like that. I mean, I don't know, man. To me, I understand that he probably wants that authenticity of the prank and that reaction to be real and all that so that people don't sit there and go, oh, it's fake. I get that, and that's fine. But there's a way of getting contracts signed so that legally you're in the clear. But I also do think that there are certain guidelines, there's certain lines that you should not cross, especially when it comes to a cis male that is not cool with making out with men. Just saying. What do you think, David?
I mean, this seems like pretty straightforward case of sexual assault, if nothing else. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to trick someone that way. I'm not entirely positive on that, but I think that would be a crime in and of itself because, you're misleading him to kiss someone he doesn't want to. But either way, even if it's not illegal, it's just bad. Like you said, his apology doesn't seem very sincere, and he didn't even go on his main channel to really make sure that it got out there.
Yeah.
So I don't really buy him, I guess. He's done some shady things before, I guess. I don't really watch his videos, but I've seen, other YouTubers complain about some of the crap he's done to people that follow him and stuff.
Right.
So, even if he is just trying to make people happy, he's also abusing people to do that. So, I don't buy that explanation because if you're causing harm to entertain people, you're still just being a jackass and causing harm. That's really it. It might be funny to someone, but it doesn't matter if you're abusing. It doesn't matter if it's funny if in the process you're abusing someone, not just their trust, but their sense of their own identity and or preferences and things.
Right. It's just for me. Like I said, I mean, and I get it. A lot of, I see some of these comments and I appreciate the comments and everything. And I don't blame you guys. You know what I mean? It's just kind of all right, why are we putting any focus on this particular conversation? And it really is important, to address these particular situations because it is something that happened to a gentleman. It happened to a man. This happened to a guy. Like I said, if this story was different, if this was on the other shoe or on the other foot, and this was a woman, everybody and their mama would be up in arms. I feel like David Dobrik would be even quicker to get onto a microphone in front of a camera and say, I'm so sorry. He would have been a Kirk Franklin situation. I'm so sorry. Please, pray for me and my family. This is a personal matter. You see what I'm saying? If it was a woman, this would be fast. But because it's a dude making out with another dude without his consent, it's no big deal. It's a dude, whatever. It's a guy. No, this is wrong. This is why we're talking about it, because it's unjust and wrong. And even so, and I played this clip from a podcast where they were talking about it, and they knew what kind of repercussions this was going to be on Seth's personal life, being a black man from Compton, and how black people, the black community, still, the black community is still getting used to homosexuality in general. You know what I'm saying? We still live in a very misogynistic world in the black community to a certain extent. And men are supposed to be men. They ain't supposed to be banging no dudes. Come on now. That's exactly what they're thinking in their heads. So now you got this dude making out with another dude. And then he goes back home to his, back home to his community. And all these dudes have seen this video and they're like, oh man, you gay, bruh. Bruh, you gay. You know what I'm saying? That's embarrassing. It's beyond. It's beyond. And that's the problem. It's beyond that. And they did that. That's a deep-seated thing. They didn't pick out some white kid, some white guy. Because if it was a white guy, it would have been no big deal. I guarantee you that. They would have been like, all right, blah. So what, he made out with a dude? No big deal. So what, he made out with a dude? But if it's a black guy, it's another conversation. That's a whole other Charles Dickens story. Real talk. So they were totally in the wrong for that. And they're busting up, laughing about it. And they did this to the kid twice. 2 times a lady. But there was no lady in there. That's sad and wrong. So of course we have to talk about it. Because that's disgusting. And it's disgusting it took him this long to go, I'm sorry. Do his Reuben stuttered. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or now it's more like a Justin Bieber thing. Is it too late now to say sorry? It might be. And then when he did say I'm sorry, it was really, really lackluster. And not even on one of his biggest pages that would have the most eyeballs on it. And that be whack, y'all. That be whack. Okay? We got to jump into this next story. Oh, go ahead, David. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, to me, it seems like he was targeting the guy specifically, I guess. It's not, because they had, I think, talked something about it before, or like mentioned it before. And I mean, so I'm sure he picked Seth because he knew that would get more attention in the media. And then he did the gorilla suits for the obvious reason of drawing attention for just discussing it as racist, because that is a thing that people will discuss. And, you can see that in the setting, that you can see why the people would definitely think that. And then they go on to force him to kiss a guy. I mean, that is molestation, if nothing else. And like you said, it's just not okay with people. And I do think that, he added basically the racist aspect to make sure that people paid attention to it. Because frankly, we probably might not be talking about it if he didn't do that aspect. Thanks. And that's what he wants. He does want people to talk about it. I just think it might have backfired more than he realized it was going to.
Right. If this was under another like scope of just YouTube drama, like other BS, like, oh, he said this and she said that, oh my God, then we wouldn't be covering it. We wouldn't be talking about it. But the fact that this is a legal situation, or this could potentially be a legal situation, that is why we are talking about it. And also the double standard of it all. It's BS. If some man or woman steps up and says, hey, this ain't cool. What happened to me wasn't cool. That person that is accused of doing said thing should act accordingly. Period. They should. Now, there's this next story I wanted to go into real quick because I want to open up the phone lines on this particular video that I'm about to show you guys. There is a dad that spoke up on behalf of his transgender daughter. And I'm trying to pull up the video. Sorry, the internet is acting a little funky for some weird reason. There we go. Nope. Let's try this again. Hopefully it'll latch on. There we go. So there's a particular video that I want to show you guys, but I wanted to put up a little bit of something. Now, this is a dad of a transgender daughter that is testifying against this is what's going on in Missouri, y'all. A Missouri anti-trans bill. Okay? So a Missouri father is becoming known nationwide after testifying to the state legislature in support of his transgender daughter. So Brandon Ballware, a lawyer and father of four, spoke on March 3rd to the Missouri House of Representatives, urging them to reject House Joint Resolution 53, which would bar trans girls from competing alongside cisgender girls in school sports. Unlike most bills on the issue pending on the nation, HJR 53 would write the ban into state constitution. So I wanted us to see this particular video because I think it's important. And then, of course, I wanted to open up the conversation because I think that this is something that we need to talk about. And there's certain opinions that I have about this. It's modified. Let's just say that. This is a modified, this is something that I would like to talk about, but there's a few things I think need to be modified, if that makes any sense. But the lines are not open yet. Just so you guys know, lines are not open yet. Let's look at this video real quick, and then the phone lines will be open. 1 second, guys.
My name is Brandon Boulware, and Chairman, I'll go as quickly as I can. I'm a lifelong Missourian. I'm a business lawyer. I'm a Christian. I'm the son of a Methodist minister. I'm a husband. I'm the father of 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, including a wonderful and beautiful transgender daughter, who today happens to be her birthday. And I chose to be here. She doesn't know that. She thinks I'm at work. One thing I often hear when transgender issues are discussed is, I don't get it. I don't understand. And I would expect some of you to have said that and feel the same way. I didn't get it either. For years, I didn't get it. For years, I would not let my daughter wear girl clothes. I did not let her play with girl toys. I forced my daughter to wear boy clothes and get short haircuts, play on boys' sports teams. Why did I do this? To protect my child. I did not want my daughter or her siblings to get teased. And truth be told, I did it to protect myself as well. I wanted to avoid those inevitable questions as to why my child did not look and act like a boy. My child was miserable. I cannot overstate that. She was absolutely miserable, especially at school. No confidence, no friends, no laughter. I honestly say this, I had a child who did not smile. We did that for years. We did that against the advice of teachers, therapists, and other experts. I remember the day everything changed for me. I'd gotten home from work, and my daughter and her brother were in the front lawn. And my daughter had sneaked on one of her older sister's play dresses. And they wanted to go across the street and play with the neighbor's kids. It was time for dinner. I said, come in. She asked, can she go across the street? I said, no. She asked me if she went inside and put on boy clothes, could she then go across the street and play? And it's then that it hit me that my daughter was equating being good with being someone else. I was teaching her to deny who she is. As a parent, the one thing we cannot do, the one thing, is silence our child's spirit. And so on that day, my wife and I stopped silencing our child's spirit. The moment we allowed my daughter to be who she is, to grow her hair, to wear the clothes she wanted to wear, she was a different child. And I mean, it was immediate. It was a total transformation. I now have a confident, a smiling, a happy daughter. She plays on a girls' volleyball team. She has friendships. She's a kid. I came here today as a parent to share my story. I need you to understand that this language, if it becomes law, will have real effects on real people. It will affect my daughter. It will mean she cannot play on the girls' volleyball team or dance squad or tennis team. I ask you, please don't take that away from my daughter or the countless others like her who are out there. Let them have their childhoods. Let them be who they are. I ask you to vote against this legislation.
I have to say something really quick. I appreciate what Brandon Boulware said here. I think it was very well put. and beautifully said. And I think it hits home a little bit more, given the fact that this is somebody who had to learn something. He learned something through living through his child's experience. Now, there's something I want to say here. And I think that because I want to open up the phone lines are not open yet. I haven't started the Speak On It segment yet. And I know some of you guys, your fingers are itching. You're ready to dial this phone number. And I appreciate the enthusiasm. But I do want to point something out and maybe entertain this idea for a second. Because obviously we've had many conversations on this show about transgender people in sports, right? Whether they should be in their specific gender that they're transitioning into sports, or they should maybe have their league of their own. Let me say this idea real quick, because of course, Mr. Ballware, who was just speaking there, was talking about his young transgendered child, right? Young child. Now, I know a lot of people out here feel some type of way about, say, transgender women going into women's sports, right? Adult sports. But when it comes to a transgendered girl playing kid sports, maybe there's an exception. Now, I'm just playing this out. I mean, I'm just saying, hey, please do me a favor and just entertain this idea for me. Because there's one thing about an actual transgendered male that goes through puberty, that grows up, that is an adult male that's going and competing against adult females, right? Naturally born females. But there's another thing when you have a transgendered child playing Little League. Should there be a difference? Should there be an acceptance to that? Because imagine, in a world, there used to be a world where there used to be, the Negro, the Negro League, baseball Negro League, etc. You see what I'm saying? There was separation of everything all the time. Then finally things got integrated. Do we really need to go down that route when it comes to our children? So, throwing that out there, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, obviously, it's very murky, very, very murky. We are swimming in a land of gray with this conversation, because it's not as black and white as we'd like it to be. But I'm just saying, let's entertain the idea. It's children, Little League. What are your thoughts on it? Give me a call. We got a phone call now. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is V. What's good with your pass?
What's up, man? How you doing, my brother?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. What's going down, Pascal fam? How y'all doing?
Speak on it,
so,
baby.
Man, I've been reading in the comment section, and everybody's making some really good points. And I applaud the congressman or whatever he was. I applaud him for his stance. You never want to alienate your children. You always want to make them feel included in whatever is going on.
Facts.
But the thing about it is there's a very clear difference. There's a very clear double standard. When I was a teenager, me and my cousin Phyllis grew up together, same age. When I turned 16 and I got my car, my curfew went away. Phyllis still had a 12 o'clock curfew unless she was out with me. You know what I'm saying? Or one of her brothers. Because I'm a dude. I could take care of myself.
Facts.
Not that she couldn't, but she's a female. Okay?
Right.
Now, when you talk about transgender sports and things like that, it's a clear disadvantage when you have a transgender girl playing sports with natural-born females, because they have a testosterone-laced advantage. And I understand what you're talking about as far as like in the little leagues and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't think that they should be allowed to play with the girls during the Little League either, because they're going to believe that that's the norm, and they're going to question why they can't play with these girls when they get into junior high and high school. So you may as well not get them used to something that they're not going to be able to do later on anyway. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard about the UFC fighter that got her skull cracked fighting a transgender fighter.
Yes.
Okay, the fighter won, and she cracked the other woman's skull. That's not fair. It was another transgender lady that won not the Tour de France, but it was another one of the big bike races, and it was a whole fleet of women that was like, man, that's not cool. This lady has had an entire lifetime's worth of testosterone to boost her system, and now she's transitioning into a woman. That excess testosterone doesn't just go away.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so a transgender female is going to just naturally be more powerful. Now, again, with the double standard, if you have a transgender male that decides that they want to play male sports, well, I mean, that's just their choice, what they want to do with their body. But see, you know, when you're dealing with a combat sport or something physical like football, a man can hit a woman a whole lot harder than a woman can hit a man untrained. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm with you on
it. Don't get it twisted. In the world of martial arts, I can name about 50 women who I cannot touch.
Word.
Period. You know what I mean? But just from a male to female perspective, it's just not fair, especially when you're in the formative years. You know, because see, you know, like, I have nothing against somebody that wants to transition, but I think that a parent allowing their child to transition before the age of 18 shouldn't be allowed, because, see, before you turn 18, you don't even know who you are. You may think you're gay, and then you experience a heterosexual relationship to realize you're not gay. You were just gay because that was the in thing to do at the time, because apparently now everything is the in thing to do, and people go through phases and fads and stuff like that. So why make such a permanent decision based on on what could be a temporary feeling? Now, some people really are born feeling like they are in the wrong body, and you definitely want to support them 100%. But you want to make sure that transition is something that they know is innate in them, that they want and need to do. But at the same time, if it's a male transitioning to female, no matter the circumstance, unless it's something like pool or like cards, men shouldn't, transgender females shouldn't be able to compete with natural-born females. That's just my personal opinion. But I completely applaud the senator or Congress representative or whoever the guy was that was out there standing up for his child. He should be doing that, and he should have been doing it from the beginning. And that he is now coming, you know, to where he's at in his life is a very beautiful thing, and I applaud the dude for it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you make some very, very strong points on all levels, man. I mean, you hit all the right bullets and everything. You know, I think that it comes down to what is. I don't know, man. I keep thinking that if it's youth, if it's the youths, okay? If it comes down to the youths, I think it's totally different. I understand, like, at a certain age, this transgendered girl is going to hit puberty, you know? Testosterone is going to be going through their veins, you know, is going to be coursing through their body, etc. That is if they don't decide to take any T blockers or anything of that sort. You know, if they don't decide to actually transition at an early age. So I understand those things happen, but when it comes to, like, and I get it that boys, you know, or males are naturally just have natural strength, more strength than women or than females and all that. But at the same time, I keep thinking, like, these are kids, you know, these are kids playing a sport. You know, and at that age, at a particular age, I don't think it's, well, this one's tough, man, because it's not like it's like at a certain age, it's not as serious.
Where you coming. I understand exactly where you're coming from.
You're not competing.
You're not competing. And you really do want to keep these kids. You really do want to keep them happy, and you want to keep their mental health intact. And making them feel isolated is a form of contributing to their mental health decline. But it's just such a touchy situation. How do you really come to the right happy medium?
That's pretty much what it is. I feel like it all comes down to finding a happy medium that everybody can be happy with. That's why I keep thinking, like, what I was trying to say here a second ago is when you are in grade school, right, and you're playing basketball or playing soccer or something like that, like, I feel that there comes a place where you're in grade school. It's not like you're competing or playing for a scholarship. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's not as serious. Yes, there's a lot of parents out there that take sports very, very seriously, even when they're very young. And I know a lot of people like that, got family members like that, that are very serious about their kids' sports, and that's totally fine. But I feel like it's not like you're playing for you see what I'm saying? It's not like you're playing for your meal. You know, you're not playing for your education. You're not playing for. So I feel like when it comes to that, it's just being able to belong, a sense of belonging for these particular kids.
And that I totally understand.
Yeah.
When I was in junior high, especially in the 7th grade, we used to do all of our sports, boys versus girls, and the coaches used to cheat for the girls all the time. You know what I mean? Like, we'd be playing like flag football, and they were allowed to tackle us. You know.
Right.
Just different ways to heavily skew the game in the favor of the girls because the guys were kind of athletic, so they wanted to keep it fair and fun.
Right.
And in situations like that, yes. But when it comes to like competing, you know, like on a formal level, like playing organized football, organized basketball, organized baseball, once you hit that middle school age, then those boys that would be trying to play, you know, football, girls basketball, girls softball or whatever, they're just going to have that clear advantage. You know, now, Little League and just, you know, out there just playing and kids being kids among each other, then, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with any kid of any sex playing in any different league, but you're dealing with very, very little people who are all very equal in terms of what they can do physically.
Right.
And where they are mentally.
Right.
You know, so in that case, if you got a little boy, you know, and it's like a little, I don't know how they do, like, kids basketball and stuff. I know, like, it's Pop Warner football, but, like, if they had, like, a Pop Warner girls basketball league for, like, 4- and 5-year-olds, and your 5-year-old is clearly more feminine than his friends, and he wants to play with the girls, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think that that's, like, a disadvantage or anything. That's just kids learning the sport.
Right.
You know, but it's once you come to a point where it starts to matter, which is like right around middle school, then no, there needs to be a clear separation of the sexes. Right. You know, because, see, people start preparing for the NBA and the NFL and Major League Baseball. They start preparing those kids during Little League. So by junior high, you're dealing with kids that are seasoned and ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to throw, you know, you might have a girl that really, really wants to play professional soccer or whatever, and you got a transgender kid who is naturally good at soccer, and she comes into the team. Now she's taking all of the attention that this natural-born female needs so she can get this scholarship, so she can go on to play for Team USA or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? If he really wants to play and he really is that good, then he should go where the competition is going to challenge him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you know this as a martial artist.
Right.
How much gratification do you get beating people up that you know you can win against? You really come away from the fight. You really come away from a good fight, one that you won, where that dude wore you out too.
Right.
And you come away even better from the ones that you lost.
True.
But you can't lose unless you're competing with people that are better than you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you are a naturally gifted, athletic male by birth going in to compete with females of your same age, but you're on a totally different caliber, then you're not even testing yourself. At this point, it's just humiliation on both ends.
Yeah, it's like, I see what you're saying. It's almost like taking a pro baseball player and having them go out and having them go out and play having them go out and play t-ball, for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are you kidding me?
Send them to a little league team and have a bunch of kids throwing 30-mile-an-hour pitches at him.
And I see that, point. You know what I mean? I definitely see that point. It's just, yeah. It's such a
But it's such a touchy subject.
It's such a touchy subject, man.
You don't want to make anybody feel excluded, and I understand that. But you still, just because, like, you don't want to exclude people trying to keep people from being excluded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to, like, wipe women out trying to keep transgender women, making them feel whole, and then just kick all natural-born women to the side. Like, that's not, like, how would that even work out?
But that's
know what I mean?
But that's the also the other thing, though, too. You got to throw it on the other side, because then there are kids out here that want to just go out and play that are transgender, and they can't play because now they don't know where they can play. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So there's that issue, too. That's why I'm saying, like, as a younger child, I feel like if they're not taking, if it's just an extracurricular activity so that they can feel a sense of teamwork, included, just feeling included in general, and also learn a sport and learn discipline, dedication, etc. through that sport. I feel like there should be an exception, but when it turns into something where she says, "I want to go after this professionally," there might be a conversation that needs to be had, because I feel like, especially if you're going to do a full contact sport. I mean, there's not, like, let's be real though. There aren't that many full contact sports for women that are mainstream.
Kiki just said something in the chat. She said universal sports, which I think if you could get enough money backing and support behind it, I think that'd be great. Then anybody that wanted to compete could just go to the Universal Sports League. It'd be men, women, transgenders, whoever, and they could go to the I think that's a great idea.
Facts.
But we clearly weren't prepared for this as a society.
No, and I don't think
you know what I mean?
I don't think anybody was ready for this. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was something that we just woke up and said, okay, let's figure out what we need to do for the for the transgender people. I feel like we're gonna.
Well, I mean, it's such a new thing. I mean, you remember? I mean, you're in your mid-30s, right?
Yeah.
So I've only probably got maybe 4, 5, 6 years on you at the most. So you remember, like, back during the 90s, being called gay or whatever, that was an insult.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like fighting words. I don't even know if you saw, like, when I said hey to the Pascal fam and you was talking about the whole thing with David Dobrik. Even to this day, okay, I'm a cisgender male. I'm completely heterosexual. I have nothing against gay people. Plenty of gay people in my family. A lot of gay friends.
Word.
But if somebody set me up, like if David Dobrik set me up like that, and I was kissing a dude and didn't know, and then found out on the cool,
man,
he would have to go to the hospital.
Right.
And then after he got out of the hospital, he would have to go back to the hospital because I would still be upset. Not because I kissed a dude, but because you lied to me and made me do something I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's humiliating.
That's like telling me to hit this punching bag, and then when I swing at the punching bag, you move somebody in the way and I punch him in the face.
Right.
I'm going to apologize to that person, and then I'm going to whoop your ass after that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because don't set me up for a fail like that. So that's dirty. So it don't have anything to do with the act of kissing a man. It's the deception behind it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the black community, as you know, where we came from, like you said earlier, it's still a stigma. Not a stigma. It's still an issue that the males of the community are trying to collectively dig their own heads out of their asses about. You know what I mean? And
phrase not intended, I guess, or intended.
And I don't even understand how is this anything that should be talked about? These are people, period. If I slice my arm open and I go slice a gay dude's arm open and we both bleed on the concrete and then you walk up, you ain't gonna be able to tell me who blood that came from,
Facts.
who arm that came from. You know what I mean? And it is nothing wrong with anyone. What's wrong is the stigma that society is placing on everybody to keep us as separate as we are.
Right.
Because we should actually be talking about way more positive things, but we just have so much negativity going on. We have to talk about things like this so we can try to figure out the best ways to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's what it is. I mean, the more and more that we have these conversations, and the more that we have these agreements, disagreements, I mean, that's how we get closer to a solution, a much needed solution. Hey, V, I really do appreciate the phone call.
Thanks a lot for your time, brother. Thanks a lot, man. Hey, you have a great day, Pascal fam. I love you guys. And, hey, y'all stay up.
Thank you, man. You too, brother. Stay up.
All right, brother, man.
Peace.
All right. One.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I was going to say that for the most part, I agree with a lot of his ideas there. I think that when it comes to adult sports, it's a little different because, a transgender man performing in like the NFL or whatever isn't unusual and it's not against the rules. And, if a female can perform at that level, they're allowed. For the women's leagues, like women's basketball, for instance, they do at least some testing to make sure that you have a certain level of testosterone. You have to be underneath a certain level to qualify for some of these sports. And that is one way they've been looking at it a lot, I think, especially with the Olympics. And I think they started doing that for the MMA and boxing as well, because it's just it's a huge difference in the competitive sport or combative sports, especially. Like, I know you have like Gino Carano and Ronda Rousey and I'm going to butcher her name, but Joanna Jędrzejczyk or whatever. These are like some of the best female fighters in the world. But Chris
Cyborg, Holly Holmes. I mean, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
So like,
I know my fair share of UFC fighters. Big fan, but go ahead.
Yeah, so there are, for the most, I would say that competitive sports are probably the most divisive in terms of having transgender males involved. Because we, like he said, we had a woman who got her skull cracked by a transgender woman that she was boxing, and that happened a few times until the transgender woman was finally beat by submission because no one could trade punches with her. So this is a problem in that degree. I don't know much about like football or whatever. I have played it a little bit. I don't know if that. I mean, when they're younger, women can play, and I'm sure they can play as adults too. But I don't think that. At least like you're talking about like a line person or something, it's probably not the safest thing because people hit really hard, and I think that would, even like if you have one of these higher combative females, even they still don't have enough muscle mass to necessarily protect their joints and things from tearing open. I mean, that's why you saw that woman's skull crack during that MMA match, because male boxers hit up. Just a heavyweight male boxer on average hits up to 17,000 pounds per square inch.
Right.
It only takes around 30 to crack a skull. Females kind of top out around 800 pounds per square inch. So there's a huge difference in that. And that's why they do, I think, have started testing for testosterone a lot more. Even with like intersex people, they will look at that and decide based on testosterone how and where you can perform. And there's also the issue that, starting to take hormones earlier on. But since we're mostly talking about children, the hormones don't really come into play yet because that's kind of a pubescent thing, right? So like 12 to 16 is when you really start getting that gender differences or like sexual differences in terms of genetic expression with larger chest, stronger back, and things like that.
Right.
So beforehand, though, like things like t-ball, I don't see a reason why prepubescent children couldn't play in the same leagues as in sports like that. You might still want to separate them at I don't know, competitive sports. But even when I was doing taekwondo as a child, I was young, probably prepubescent. I don't quite remember, but I did practice with girls around my own age when I was that young. I was very small, and it didn't seem that strange then. But now I go to like boxing and kickboxing and things now, and the difference is so much more obvious at that point, even for women that are there far more than me. Like there are women that go there 6 days a week, and I only go like maybe once or twice a week, and they're much more skilled than me, much more technical, and probably could beat me, but they just do not hit on the same level, even though they're much better than me in every other regard, to be honest. Still, if we traded a punch, they would probably go down. But if it was like a full match and they could grapple me, they would very likely win. And that's what happened to that MMA transgender woman. She was only defeated by grappling because you can't really trade punches with someone who's had that amount of testosterone in their system for a long time and who has had some sort of physical training, like be it at sports or combative training or anything like that. That will stay with you for a long time. So for children, I think it's a little easier. For most sports, I think you can mix them just fine.
Yeah.
Like even Taekwondo, it was fine. No girls ever got hurt, and it wasn't just me. It was a bunch of boys and girls that practiced Taekwondo together as children. So I do think it's fine for younger groups. Like V said, it could train some people to be more aggressive with women than they normally would. Because like one thing you might have done if you're just training in like some sort of MMA, if you're sparring with a woman, they might be like, go in at 50% speed and strength, and then she comes at you full speed. And that is one way of training. But, if people haven't learned how to pull punches yet, haven't learned how to move slower, and haven't learned how to not hit at full strength, they are going to hurt them very badly.
Yeah.
And there's really no way around that. Maybe if you started hormones right as you hit the pubescent age, I could see that neutering the male genetic expression. But if it happens afterward, I think that the simple buildup of muscle mass will make a permanent change. Because if you've ever lifted before and you've stopped for a few months, or maybe even a year, and you go back to it, you start making those gains back quick. Like your body remembers how to do that. Even if you started changing, even if you gotten fatter or lazier, changed your hormones, your body still remembers how to do that, and it's going to pick that up better, and your muscles will more naturally just pick up that strength again. That's just the way, I guess, like muscle memory works.
Yeah, I mean, very good points all around there, David. I think that when it comes down to it, it's like, we have. I think that it shouldn't be a problem being able to integrate transgender girls into girl sports as children, but as things get older, or as things progress, as children get older, then you start realizing, okay, wow, my kid is really good at this particular sport. So then you start to focus or put them into like select basketball teams, or, you know what I'm saying? You start putting them in other very specialized groups or teams so that they can continue playing and be the best that they can be, right? I feel like that's the same thing in regards to transgender kids. If that kid wants to play sports as a kid, I feel like that kid should be able to enjoy playing sports in Little League. But then, of course, when your children get older, when things progress, you start to see who's better at what, and you know what I'm saying? What they excel at, what they don't excel at. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, maybe then you go, okay, we start looking into different options or more options for my daughter, my transgender daughter. And I think that's okay. But I think in the very beginning, I think every kid should be able to play sports. Little League, it's not, because they're all still developing. It's not like a boy is going to be instantly naturally stronger than a girl like that playing baseball. I think it's pretty much the same thing when it comes to Little League. I'm just talking about Little League. When you start hitting puberty, when they get older and all that stuff, that's a different story. But I think every kid should be able to enjoy being a kid. And that's what happened. Well, that's what I felt like what he was saying in that speech. When he was addressing whoever he was addressing during that hearing, the representatives. He was just saying, hey, please, everybody, I really appreciate it, but I want us to look into this, because this is a situation where my child will never feel normal, wants to feel okay, comfortable in her own skin. And by signing this particular bill, that could very well destroy that feeling. Let's get this one last phone call. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
New York.
Hey, what's your name, New York?
Evelyn.
Evelyn, how you doing, sweetheart? What's on your mind? Speak on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was watching you live, and I thought I could comment.
Yeah, you can call in. Yeah. I'm talking to you right now. How you doing? You're live.
I am. Oh
Yes.
my God! Oh, but there's someone speaking now.
Oh, no. You're watching the feed and it's a few seconds behind. So put the show on mute and talk to me on the phone.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So Evelyn.
Hi. Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi. How you doing, Pascal? My first time calling into any type of show.
Welcome. Thank you so much for calling.
Yes, I heard the comment about father, and I completely father that testify on his child's behalf. You know, people seem to think that I have several friends that are transgender, and people seem to think that being transgendered is a choice, and it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens in the brain, and they happen to have a female brain and a male body. And when you think of all the obstacles that they have to face in their lives, being transgendered and this type of discrimination, not letting them play, is just another obstacle. The other thing is going to affect the self-esteem. I mean, I feel like, you know, if the parents are not, if the parents, the team members' parents are not objecting, and other people not getting, I don't see it as being a problem. You know, we're a society that, you know, we try to be accepting. And it's easy to say, like someone had mentioned earlier, like, you know, the blacks were divided before, Latinos were divided before, whites were divided before.
Right.
And we need to be more accepting of the situations with these children.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that a lot of it is just bias, and that we have to accept people where they're coming from, regardless, you know, religion, anything that's involved. And that is my position. They should let that child play and let the parents deal with the child, give the child support as they go along. I mean, not all children that are transgender are going to go into professional sports.
That's true. That is very, very true.
That's my feeling. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So why can't we just let them play if that's what's going to make that child feel good? Because what you're doing is you're beating up the self-esteem of these children. You're showing them that there's discrimination. Granted, there will be along the line, but how do you prepare them if you just, at this point, just shut them down? A lot of transgenders commit suicide or go on to substance abuse. And we want to have a different type of model. I'm really glad that right now there is more acceptance for the transgender community than ever before. I myself was, like I said, I was raised with some transgenders, and the abuse that they got. I mean, they were attacked by the community, a lot of physical attacks by parents and, you know, family members,
Mm-hmm.
and all, you know, job discrimination. I mean, they already discriminate. And we're just going to put another layer on by discriminating them as children. I don't think it's fair. I think it's a responsibility of parents. I think it would, you know, for the parents to go speak to the team, or go to the school, speak to the school. I mean, I think education is the important thing, and to let people know, listen, this is a choice that, you know, not a choice, but this is what happened. They're transgender, and that's it. You're black, you're transgender. You're Latino, you're transgender.
Right.
I mean, there is no different. Discrimination is a discrimination, and I think we have to begin to be more open-minded and accepting. You know, and some people are really like fixated. Like in that state, there may be some people that are very heavy into the religion component, so they have their bias into that. So lo and behold, down the line, they may have a grandchild that's transgendered, and then their mindset might change then. So that's all I wanted to share. But thank you so much for talking to me. God bless you.
Thank you so much. You too.
I love your show.
Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.
Good call.
Yeah, it is a good call, and it's right. You know, she definitely has a point there. You know, man. She definitely had some strong points and very good points throughout that entire thing. And I think that, yeah, I do think that people would dance a different tune if the shoe was on the other foot. If their child or if they had a family member that was transgender, then I feel like would approach the situation completely different. They'll be like, oh, on second thought, now that I understand, because I am a grandfather or an uncle or a brother or something like that to someone who is transgender, now I truly understand. We shouldn't be passing this kind of bill. And I think that's what it is too. I think that's exactly what happened to that lawyer, to Mr. Ballware, where he was talking about his whole thing with his whole situation with his transgender daughter and how she is finally herself. She's being her true, authentic self, and she is happy, and how much that there was a transformation in her attitude and her outlook on life. All because she felt accepted by her family. And that's what I feel like everyone needs to feel. She is exactly right. Evelyn from New York is exactly right. There are more and more people who are of the transgender community that are getting addicted to drugs, committing suicide, doing crazy, terrible things to themselves because they feel so alone. They feel so ostracized. They feel like they can't be themselves. They can't speak out. I think it's a very important subject matter that we are talking about here. And like we've said before, the more we talk about it, the more we bring it up, the more hopefully we can get closer. Like we can get closer to an answer, closer to a solution that can work for everyone. I say, let the children play. Let the children be children. Let them be happy. Let them have heaven on earth. Why not? And if that's their bliss, let them have their bliss. That's what I think. I don't think it needs to be as complicated. But I think once things get older, when issues get older, when that athlete gets older, then there's another issue. There's another thing that may be an obstacle that you might have to jump over, another hurdle you might have to jump over. But hopefully by that time, we've already figured some things out that work for everybody. But anyway, it is time to get going, guys. I really do appreciate everybody for calling in. I appreciate all the comments, all the love. Y'all are amazing. David, thank you so much for being on, bruh. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
As always.
Great show today.
Great show. It's been great shows all day long, man. And knock on wood, hopefully it stays exactly like that. But I appreciate everybody being on, giving the love. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. That would really mean a lot. You know what I'm saying? Send those loves, send those likes all the way up. That would mean a lot. Hey, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. Of course, crush that join button. That would really mean a lot. There's a lot of really fun perks in the membership. $4.99. That's only $5 a month, but you're supporting the show, helping the show, and we all could use a little help nowadays, okay? So that we can keep giving you guys the information and keep telling you these stories, okay? So please don't forget to hit that join button, hit that like button down below. Of course, I got to have interruptions right now while I'm trying to say bye. So hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that join button, okay? I really appreciate it. And of course, join our Discord. That would really mean a lot as well. We got a lot of great stuff going on over there. The family, the community over there has been amazing. There has been more and more stuff going on that we've been dropping over there. More conversations are being had. We are continuing the conversations that we're having here over there as well. So be sure to join the Discord. Be a part of the conversation over there as well. Anyway, I appreciate
second channel too.
Oh, yeah. And I also do have a second channel that I just started yesterday as well. Please go crush that subscribe button on the second page. It's called The Pascal Show Clips. Please go hit that. I'm sorry that I'm asking you guys to join all these things, but these are all just things I actually had a moment of time where I could just jump out and crank out a whole bunch of stuff. So please go join the Pascal Show Clips there. These are going to be where all the clips starting here, all the clips from the live shows are going to be over there now, including phone calls, etc., are going to be showcased and shown over there so that you guys don't have to always, scrub through every single piece trying to find the moments that, that you want to watch, the subject matters that you want to watch. So anyway, be sure to do that. Hit that subscribe button on the Pascal Show clips. That would really mean a lot. Hit the join button. Would love your membership. And we got to get going, okay? Woo! What a show today. But I love you guys. You guys are amazing. So many amazing people coming in, calling in, commenting and all that. And we could not do this show without every single last one of y'all. So, mwah, I love you guys. You guys are the best family on the net. All right? We got to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.